Okay. That was a pre-recorded show for Dr. Kim, and we welcome you to the second hour, which is live. And today is May the 12th, 2022, and our calling number is 563-999-3581, and press 1, and that puts you in the queue to talk to us. And we'd love to hear your comments and your questions because that makes this your show. And I invite you to go to our website, as always, at whyagain.org, and look around. There's some new things that have been added on, and just check them out and see what's happening. We have the book club at 3:30 Eastern Time today. The information for that, if you go to the website, and you can click on either events or schedule, and you'll find it says Global Online Book Club. And the Zoom link to click on and to join us live is on there. And we also have all the recordings for 4 different meetings that we've had, and we'll continue until we get finished. So join us for that. It starts at 3:30 Eastern Time and goes until it's usually a couple of hours. It's 8:30 London time, and that's where the book club is originating. So they don't go too much longer than that because of the hour for them. So join us live here in about an hour and a half and be part of that. It's an awesome group of people. And I'm going to say welcome, Michael.
Thank you, dear heart, and welcome, everybody. Delighted and honored that you're here to be part of this conversation. And we have, we've talked about MindShifters quite a bit, and we're getting ready Saturday to do our Saturday session with the 2 sessions that we do once a month for the MindShifters and Still Point Breathing Group. And I just had a thought that we might talk a little bit about MindShifters and take a look at what they mean and how they work and give you an opportunity to grab one if you'd like. So our definition for a mind shifter is that a mind shifter is a thought about an issue in your life around which you have negative thoughts, and it's the opportunity to surface, process, and release the negative thoughts. And so because the mind works by resonance, if you pick up a middle C tuning fork and you hit it on a desk and you put it in front of a second middle C tuning fork, without touch, that second tuning fork is going to start to move. Resonance creates motion. Energy moves. And so the second tuning fork doesn't have any choice about it because it has a matching energy field to the first. The second tuning fork automatically goes into what they call sympathetic resonance. And so the mind works by the same same principle, If I say don't think about the color of your car, then something about the color of your car moves in your mind. Resonance. And so if there's an issue somewhere in your life and you tap into the right thought and you start to work with that as a mind shifter, then that thought will start to uncover hidden things in your mind. And so we've set up a system where, like for instance, when we're going to do a still point breathing workshop, we'll invite people to pick 2 numbers. And the 2 numbers, we give a range of numbers each time we do that. Like, for instance, today, we've got 10 different sets of mind shifters. And each set has 13 mind shifters in it. So I'm going to invite you to just think about right now. And we found this just works so perfectly. I mean, been doing this for 4 decades now with people, is just pick 2 numbers from this range of numbers, and that will be the mind shifter that you select by. And I always ask that you be guided to pick the right 2 numbers. And it's hilarious. I mean, for decades we've watched people, we've got 40 people in a room and, they've been working together in this intensive maybe for 5 or 6 days. So they've gotten to know each other fairly well and they know what each other's issues are. And somebody picks a number a set of numbers, and I give them their MindShifter, and they're just like, whoa, how did I get that one? It's so perfect. I just finished talking about that 10 minutes ago. So we've got 10 groupings of MindShifters. Let me give you the titles of the different groupings.
Michael, unless you've got it, I only have 8.
Yeah, the 10 are complete. We've got 10 groupings. And so I'm going to give you the titles of each of the 10 groupings, and then there are 13 MindShifters in each grouping. So we'll just invite you now, before we do the rest of the explanation, to pick a number from 1 to 10. And that'll be your first number. So just whatever pops into your mind. And then a second number from 1 to 13. So the grouping that you pick will be the first number. So I'll give you a MindShifter if you choose to, if you want one. If you want to call in, we'll give it to you. I'll give you a MindShifter from that grouping, whether you picked 1, 2, or 10. And I'm not going to tell you which titles are which, but here are the titles. So partnering in sweetness, approval, and love is one of the titles. Living without perception and memory is another of the titles. And healing into aliveness. Healing fear and hostility through forgiveness is another title. Creating abundance is still another title. Healing into eternal life is one of the topics. And dealing with power person issues is still another topic. Healing generations is still one more. Source esteem issues, healing death, healing into eternal life. So they're the different topics, and each of those topics has 13 MindShifters in it. So if you would, just pick a second number from 1 to 13. You've got 2 numbers in front of you. One of them will be for the grouping, and the second will be the specific MindShifter in that grouping. Now, the way that you use a MindShifter is that you take a piece of paper, divide it down the middle, and on the left side of the page, you write the MindShifter that we give you, and then on the right side of the page, you allow your mind to just start to dump whatever comes up. So one of my favorite MindShifters, abundance is often an issue, and so I usually use this one as the example, and that is, I always earn twice as much as I can spend. So a person who gets that MindShifter that has financial issues is going to tend to say something like, they'll get that MindShifter right at once. I always earn twice as much as I can spend. And then my first thought might be, but that's crazy. It's like, okay, that's not true. I haven't got my bills paid this month. And that's it. You run out of things to write. Then you write the MindShifter again. I always earn twice as much as I can spend. Nothing happens. I always turn twice. And maybe after writing another 3 or 4 times, all of a sudden comes the thought, well, I remember when they repossessed my car. I don't have enough money to pay my bills. I always earn twice as much as I can spend. And then, there might be just an opening, and bang, you write down every time there was a money problem, things just start to flow. So what happens is, information is stored in the mind in files, so to speak. So everything in your file on your mind on abundance, if you get a MindShifter that relates to abundance, will tend to start to move. And the idea is, if you listen to the ancient teachings, they said, take care of the heart, for out of it are the issues in life. Now, they weren't talking about the physical organ, the heart. They were talking there about the unconscious. Take care of the unconscious, for out of it are the issues in life. If we live in a world where we live in denial, I blame you for what I'm feeling. You made me this way, or you are that way. So that blame statement, when there's something going on inside of me, means that the real cause of what's going on inside of me, I have to hide from myself to believe that somebody else is the problem in my life. And so when I do that, and most of the world, listen to the world. How many times have you said, you made me, you caused me such pain, you hurt me, on and on and on go the statements. Each time one does that, perception is a construct of the mind, And if my mind is serving up a pained perceptual construct, it's because there's pained content in my mind. But if I say you're the cause of it, I'm in essence saying to my mind, don't show me that that is mine, that belongs to me. Build me a perceptual construct that shows me that that is caused by someone else. And so I dissociate from certain content in my mind when I do that. And then because I've dissociated from it, it's kind of like I've pushed down on it. And when I push down on it, I add energy to it. When I add energy to it, it amplifies the energy that goes out into the world and resonates or draws experiences to me. Remember, energy is motion. And so if I stop motion, and thought is no different, it's a motion. If I stop that motion, if I inhibit it becoming conscious, and I hallucinate, I build a picture of blame of somebody else being the cause, then I've created a heart or an unconscious condition in myself. And it's from there that the issues show up in my life. So the idea of the MindShifter is to use it to resonate as a catalyst to show me what I need to work on, what's underneath the surface in my mind. So you've got two numbers from 1 to 10, and then a second number from 1 to 13. And if you want to just push 1, I've got the list here sitting in front of me, and we'll go through and give you a MindShifter. So if you're on the station where we can't see you, our call-in number is 563-999-3581. If you call that number, you're listening to the show directly. And then if you push 1, that raises a hand in the control panel, and Jeannie will know you want to talk to us. So if you'd like to get a MindShifter right now from our latest groupings, so 1 to 10, then 1 to 13, then we'll give you a MindShifter. So if you'd like to push 1, give us the number you're looking for, and we'll share that MindShifter with you and invite you to put it to work in your life and see what happens. So, Ms. Jeannie, do we have anybody who wants a MindShifter? Is somebody in the chat room?
No.
Anybody in the control panel?
Nobody has a hand up. No.
Nobody wants to play today? I figured we'd have folks who'd like to take a look on a deeper level at what's going on. That's why I figured, well, we'll do that today and start or get everybody working on MindShifters. So 563-999-3581. Just give us your two numbers, and we'll give you a MindShifter. And maybe nobody wants to play, so that's okay. We'll let that one go. And I'll just, let me share number 10-8. So 10-8, if that were your number, then the MindShifter is, it's silly to rely on the past to form my perception. So this calls into play the fact that the mind, the fact that it builds pictures based on what's stored in it from the past. Remember, perception is a construct of the mind, and of course it can't construct out of something that isn't there, and if it's there, it's obviously there from the past. So when I start to realize that I could be living in the present, and it's really pretty silly to rely on the past, which is, generally speaking, what the whole culture does all the time. That's why we've got so much conflict going on in our world, because people who never know how to go in and forgive, never know how to go in and remove the conflicts from their own minds. The last time that conflict happened, they blamed somebody, so they dissociated from that content. They projected that content into their brain's image of someone else, and they had a perception that, Bill was the cause of this pain. When I start to question that, when I start to understand that perception is a reflection of the past, then I can begin to collapse my perceptions from the past. Question them first. So when I offer myself the thought, see, it's silly to rely on my past to form my perception, I've got a catalyst to start to look at unconscious dynamics. So that's the MindShifter game. It's a powerful tool to really start to search through the unconscious dynamics and that reside in each of our minds and wake up to the truth of who we are. It's a great tool. And if we don't have anybody that wants to grab a MindShifter, you can do it in the chat room too.
I actually have a hand up.
Oh, cool. Let's say hello.
I believe this is Patrick, area code 727. You're on the air.
Well, hey there, Patrick. Yeah, how are you? You're sounding kind of funky, Patrick. Can you hear him, Jeannie?
No, I can't understand him at all, Patrick.
Yeah, I get there. Hold on. Something's wrong.
You got down speaker?
I'll call you back.
Okay. We'll give Patrick a minute to call back in. Technology is so great when it works and so not fun when it doesn't. By the way, if you're listening to the show on one of those stations where we can't see you, then by dialing the number 563-999-3581, you'll be listening to the show directly. So we can have then if you push 1, that will raise a hand in the control panel. And we're waiting for Patrick to call back in so that we can have that conversation with him. 563-999-3581. And I'm going to, seeing as how it doesn't seem to be coming back in yet, I'm going to try calling Patrick and see if I can three-way him in, if that's any better.
Oh, he's back on. Hold on just one second.
Oh,
Let's
good.
try it again. Patrick?
Howdy. Can you hear me now?
Ah, that's better. Hey, you're loud and clear.
Good.
How are you, my friend?
Right. I'm good.
Good. What's on your mind?
Anyway, so I got... Well, while you were talking, I had a few thoughts, and one was to parallel the work that you do would be modern psychologists talking to me said, hey, whenever you do the blame game, in my words, you give away your power. So you have no power whatsoever. All your energy is tied up because you're a victim of another.
Right.
So it's another way to think, do I want to be a victim or do I want to be at cause? And as long as we're doing the blame game and they did it to me, you made me mad, the language that we've been brought up with, and keep that language, we're in trouble. And there's another person, if anybody wanted to, B.K. Shivani states the same thing, that if you stick with this language, well, too bad. So you got to change the language, as you said, and stop doing the blame game if you want to have your own ability to create what you want and enjoy.
Reclaim your power.
Or reclaim your power. So that was one, and then the other was, this is a question, thought, but I didn't tune in early, so I don't know. My opinion at this point, which is changeable in a flash, is that the best thing to do is we're all programmed, with our craziness, and so stuff comes up like, you're a pain in the rear, that's a pain in the rear, whatever, and then that injures the energy around those tissues. But it seems to me the best thing to do is allow whatever feelings you have to flow as they are up to the conscious mind. Go ahead and let them come out in a safe space, safe way, not at someone in physical form, and then that way you know what it is that you're trying to possibly suppress. And if you suppress it, it's still going to be active. So it needs to come up, be worked with, transmuted, changed, sir. So I was wondering what your thoughts were on letting it come up. How do you bring it up, or do you bring it up as it is? What do you do with it?
Well, that's one of the ideas. Did you tune in at the beginning of the show to the conversation about MindShifters?
No, that's when I was late. What I did was I came in when you said a little bit of MindShifters, and you asked if you wanted one, and my numbers before as you asked, were above 11 and 13, so I didn't get one. So I asked Patricia, what do you got? And she says 12. Okay, do it yourself is what that means. Anyway, go ahead.
So pick a number from 1 to 10.
Okay. I got.
And then a number from
10.
1 to 13. 10. Okay. 10 and then 1 to 13.
Hold on, let me go. 12.
Okay. So number 12 is, you got your pen handy?
I'm ready.
My partner is true to me, comma. So number 10, 12 is, my partner is true to me, comma. And I am true to my partner. My partner is true to me, and I am true to my partner in thought, comma. Word, comma. My partner is true to me, and I am true to my partner in thought, word, action, and appearance. That's from the section on partnering in sweetness, approval, and love. My partner is true to me, and I am true to my partner in thought, word, action, and appearance. So, does that bring any thoughts up to you?
Yeah. How lucky we are that we've come as high up the scale as we have on this, and keeps in mind, if I break any of this, to write it down and make sure I can, take the time to take care of it in thought, word, action, or deed, and appearance. And then appearance is a good question, because I think she allows me for a week or two at a time, unless I'm going out to work, to not shave and get grody and everything. And she's very loving, so. But then she helps me out when it's time to go out and helps me trim my beard and check the back of my head. Did I get everything? So I guess. But anyway, I'll keep it in mind, and I'll ask her about all these things and make sure. That's the best thing. I think I'll talk to her and find out if there's something she's subjugating that she's not telling me that I'm doing that I don't know about. So all of that
is your brain dump. All of that is what you'd put on the right-hand side of the page. Mm-hmm. And then, and what we suggest you do is that you take at least an hour where your phone is off, you're in your own space, and you just write that MindShifter, and like you just did, write down every thought. And right. You came up with a powerful solution, if there is anything, and that is, I'm going to go communicate about it. Whew, great opening. Yeah. Is there anything, going around the way that I behave that I need to look at? And what an opening for communication. So that's the idea of a MindShifter, and that's one of the good breath. Now, what just happened with that breath? Something moved.
That was releasing resistance and fears to not having a better relationship, knowing that by doing this, we have more sharing of the love we are, and looking forward to it. So
nice.
Yeah.
So again, that goes on the right side of the page.
All right.
And what happens, and so as you were talking about how to uncover things, well, there's how to uncover things right there. By doing that MindShifter, you resonate, and what happens when you add energy to something that's been hidden, it strengthens, and when it strengthens enough, it pops through to the surface. And most people, when they work with a MindShifter, look at what they write on the page, and they're like, my God, I didn't realize that was in my mind. Well, yeah, I remember thinking it, but I didn't really realize it was there, and it was a factor in my life or my relationships or what have you. Yeah. So this is one of the ways to bring up those things that are suppressed and hidden, is by using resonance, getting the right thought to add energy to that unconscious data that's been suppressed, as you say, and strengthen it so it pops through to the surface and I become conscious of it. Because if I don't allow myself to become conscious of it, the things that I hold in the unconscious impact the way I think, feel, and behave without awareness by me that's what, oftentimes we'll say to somebody, well, why did you say that? And they'll go, well, I don't know. Or why did you do that? I don't know. I just felt like it. We have a suggestion to people who do things just because they feel like it is never do that again. Be conscious of what you do, choose your behavior, and you'll never be functioning from the unconscious. And if you do, use a MindShifter to open it up, or, the forgiveness tool, the step-by-step forgiveness worksheet, reality management. What happens when you recognize there's a painful perceptual construct and you cancel the goal that's driving it, literally when that perception based in pain, and, oftentimes people have no idea why they're in pain. They just know, I've got all this pain going on. But when I apply forgiveness to that construct and it collapses, it's kind of like it drops in on itself and on its way into the unconscious. The root of that pain perception is exposed when I open that pathway. And so once again, here's another way to access unconscious dynamics. The still point breathing process is a way to access unconscious dynamics. You'll notice when there's something being suppressed, what everybody does when they start talking about something they don't really want to deal with is they alter their breathing pattern or shut their breathing down. So breathing, still point, is another way to access those unconscious dynamics. And what happens is that when you access something in the unconscious that, maybe somebody's been afraid of or not wanted to deal with, not wanting to look at it, just by mere access and staying connected to breath and love, the unconscious charge, the pained energy that's held there simply begins dissolution. It begins to disappear. So there are some of the ways of doing that. We've got, you did the codependence to independence communication intensive, and in that one we had a power person worksheet, and the power person worksheet goes through all aspects of a particular event that's happening today and how it ties back to the power person, and by doing so you start to get to access those unconscious dynamics. The commitment, utilizing the commitment. You get to that part in the commitment that says, if anything less than love comes up, I'm going to hold this in my heart and listen. Well, if I'm in my hostility, I'm not holding anybody, myself or anybody else, in my heart. But when I remind myself that, I speak the commitment every day, so when I remind myself, I'm going to hold this in my heart, I can stop, think about that person, friend, enemy, partner, child, parent, and open the space of love and embrace them, extend that presence of love to them. And when I do that, I'm going to start to see more of my own unconscious dynamics. So just about every tool we teach, of the dozens we teach, is about how to access those parts of the unconscious and clean them up. Does that make sense?
You can hear yourself? Yeah.
You're loud and clear. Yes, sir.
And then it brought up a lot for me. One of the things that I've always thought is why I hated to do worksheets, and, why secondarily, which has to do with me, projection out, to be why people don't stick with the work or want to do the work, and then why call it work instead of enjoying or clearing or something, reprogramming, whatever. But work has a connotation for me of work. I work too much most of my life. Then what I think is why would I want to dig in the mud and bring up the pain? Because it hurts. And so I would think that there's a parallel for other people too. But I guess if I can figure this out myself, it'd be the best thing. So the first thing that I think is when that pain's brought up, there's a level that connotates the idea of judge not, least should be judged, being that we judge not only others but ourselves according to the belief systems and programs we have. So if I bring it up, oh my gosh, I'm guilty, there's so much pain, and I don't know how to handle it, which brings up for me, still point breathing, I think is extremely important. One of the reasons why I like breathing and still point so much is because it doesn't just access, it clears right through. If you breathe and you can, bring life, chi, spirit through the pain of the program that you've experienced or are experiencing, still point is so phenomenal for clearing, not just bringing it up. So that's been my preferred way over worksheets on my own. The other preferred way for me is to have someone like you have always done for me, someone who is non-judgmental, who stays in being and presence and just listens to my garbage without a judgment on it. So that I found that clears. Also, when I was experimenting, I've always checked different churches and paths, and Latter-day Saints, that was people that I thought I needed to help 3 months later were totally clear. They had these terrible energy fields and terrible posture from their guilts of what they did in a war to other people, blah, blah, blah. And because no one judged them when they told their stories, and people were just, as you are excellent at, being there for them, they totally changed in 3 months without anything else but that. So those are some of the ideas. But previously, I just hated digging up the mud, the pain, you know. But now that I have enough techniques and enough people who can not judge when I speak about, you know, what I'm holding inside, then I do have the pathways. But I always think for everybody that it's very important to have some support person to be able to help you with your thing and not get caught in it. Like I always think of how people actually pass out, why you tell them to write these things out, because sometimes the pain is so overwhelming that they leave mentally because the emotional pain is too great. And that's the last thing I have to say, why we stick it in our body and kill our body with this energy that's not flowed, not alive. As long as it's flowing and it's like flowed emotions, then we're alive. And if we bring it into stasis and repress it, we're killing the body and killing love. And that's all I have to say that you brought up for me. Thank you.
Michael, I hear you talking through the wall, but I think you're muted.
I was mute challenged. Excuse me. So right on. There's the reason why one would want to dig down in the mud voluntarily when they're ready and willing to do some work. Because if we don't dig in the mud, the energy that's in us that's hidden in the mud, literally, you know, by definition, everything is energy, including the trauma that I hold. And energy is motion. And so if I have something in me and so quote unquote in the mud in me, that energy is impacting, as you say, my physiology. Literally, it's the stuff death is made of. But it also is setting up a field that through resonance is going to tend to draw somebody to me to play it out with me. So if there's something in myself I've hidden from myself, I don't have access to it. I can't decode it. I don't even, and when it moves, it's like I'm not even aware it's there. And, you know, my take is that life abhors us killing ourselves. And so life is set up so that if there's any energetic pattern, mud pattern, so to speak, in us, that's literally physiologically killing us, life sends someone to resonate that and bring it up. And that's another opportunity to go, oh, this is mine. I could change it unless I'm in denial. Then I go, look what you've done to me, and I bury it under another layer of mud. But life is relentless because the purpose of life is to kick us right square in the limitation. What we don't want to deal with and what we don't want to decode in ourselves, life sends us somebody with the decoder, and it's not fun when that happens. When we're in willingness and go, okay, so I'm ready to open and let things come up. Things don't have to, you know, sneak, situations that we don't expect don't have to sneak up on us. You know, it's like one of the things that we recognize about the law of resonance is that resonance creates motion. You know, if I've got let's say I've got two baby grand pianos beside each other, and I go over and I hit middle C on one of those baby grands, and I open the back and I look in the back of the second baby grand piano, all of the keys related to middle C are going to be moving. They're going to be vibrating. Second piano doesn't come over and climb on top of the first one, but in the human realm, there's another aspect of motion that comes into play. It not only creates motion in others, in other words, if somebody has the matching bag of garbage, there's going to be a resonance, and what moves in me will tend to move in them. But when it does, they'll also tend to move toward me and bring that matching bag of garbage forward, and that's what creates clashes in relationships. If I'm willing to do my work, I can be finished with those clashes and just willingly, on a daily basis be committed to doing my work and cleaning up my bag of garbage, my bag of mud, so that I don't have to have someone sneaking up on me in the dark, so to speak, out of the darkness, playing out what the energetic patterns that I hold in myself that are vibrating so strongly, trying to come through to the surface, that the tissue that they're stored in is inflamed and restricted in blood flow and all kinds of trauma going on, because that energetic pattern is a pattern that does not belong in that tissue, and it literally creates tissue disturbance. Which way am I better off? I'm going to deal with the energy anyway. It might be a festering sore physically, or I can, somebody shows up and resonates my rage, or I have a mind shifter and I go, oh, maybe I'll talk to my spouse about whether there's anything I should be looking at. Now, through willingness and a loving conversation, I can look at that might otherwise cancel the thought. Tomorrow be literally the physiological festering sore. I can bring it forward and go, oh, I didn't realize I was holding that resentment. Let me remove that. The load's gone from the tissue, the relationship improves, and my vitality reaches a new level. So that's the willingness. Most people, unfortunately, don't step in and do their work until they're in pain. And, pain has a wonderful purpose. It makes our ears grow. But we can do it through choice and not have to be motivated by trauma to start looking at things. We can be motivated by, I don't have to be sick to get better. I think I'll do some work today. I think I'll do a worksheet or two. I think I'll write a mind shifter. I think I'll breathe. And now ease and grace accompanies the healing of those dynamics instead of drama and trauma. Does that fit? Does that make sense from your experience?
Always makes sense. Always brings up more for me. So there's some questions I have, because I'm actually going to do a presentation tonight. I don't know, within a couple of weeks on body, mind, and spirit and healing. And
right.
Before I get to that, I'm going to go around in a circle here. Well, maybe I'll do that. So the most important thing for me, because I'm a compulsive one to help other people, but finally I'm getting around to helping me. So I think that's the best way, absolutely. But it was a matter of, did I have the tools to face the pain, the judgment of others, face my judgment of myself, whatever, that, they could have been telling the truth, but it was just bringing up my stuff, so I wanted to deny it, et cetera. So I came up with these things, while you're talking. Movement is life. Stasis is not. Now, for me, the first tool that I present to myself, anybody that might use it, is to work out. So when you're doing exercise, you literally, and it depends on the attitude you do it with, you can work out. And as you move the energy through the body. You also breathe deeper. And I went to an Alzheimer's meeting yesterday, and it was like the first thing is exercise to keep the mind alive. And any other thing, whether you're talking about the heart, this, that, the other, medical doctor, first thing is exercise. Second thing is diet, usually Mediterranean diet is the first advice. But I look at exercise as excise. To excise is to cut away. So like, what's his name? The guy that did sculpturing. Yeah, cut away, chop away, not chop away, but chisel out to the real you, the love you that you are, the being that you are. And so then
remove.
And
that's what forgiveness is, removal.
That was wrong. And so flowing emotions first, and I'm looking at how many people have a support for doing that. We used to have support groups in your work, and I don't know who. I know a few people that are still available for support. I don't know about groups, and I'm looking at the possibility of people knowing who they could give a call to. And the most important thing that's already there is, and I've done it with you on this radio, if nobody's available, other people can hear, but we help other people. If we clear while on the show with you, we get excellent support, and we can bring up our stuff, and everybody else can gain while we release our stuff. So the first thing that I know is available 5 days a week is this program for that. And then I think
why we do it
for a long time ago was somebody stated, I don't know, 50 years ago or 45, something like that it was like a cauldron bubbling and you had to get the junk off the top so you could see inside. But I think more of what's down in there is just clear. That's us. Just get the junk off the top. Or I have something I'm not sure. Well, it's another subject, so I won't bring it up later. But on the body, mind, spirit, what I got so far is that I'm going to be presenting this to a martial arts group, and I do body work for the owner. And in that, what I look at is that spirit, the spirit is life, and the parallel on the physical plane for that is energy and breath. And as energy is blocked, emotions or energy and motion is blocked because we have guilt about it. We have, we're covering a pain, basically, and then we cover it with an anger, something, and a judgment of others instead of clearing it within ourselves. That blockage becomes physical always because there's an absolute parallel in blood flow and energy flow, and breath can move it, and movement can move it, and forgiveness can finish it so it doesn't come back.
One of the things. One of the things I've been thinking about the last 2 or 3 minutes as you've been talking is my deep appreciation for the fact that you introduced me to the AVACEN. And, when you talk about excising and exercising, they did I don't know if you're aware with this particular piece of research that they did at University of California at San Diego, but they did a study of diabetics with the AVACEN, and within doing a 30-minute session right after eating, changed postprandial blood levels by 60 points, which, from what I understand, is about the equivalent of a brisk 1-hour walk. So people who can't ambulate, people who can't get up and work out and such, by simply putting their hand in the AVACEN, they can get the equivalent in 30 minutes of being relaxed. It could be watching TV or working on their computers or sitting on the phone, or as I usually am. I don't have it today because I was at my computer with the MindShifters, but usually every day you might hear a little ticking sound in the background. I've got my hand in the AVACEN. So for an hour, I'm doing the radio show, physiologically, I'm getting the effect of a 2-hour walk in that hour. Exercise-wise, how it moves blood flow in the body. So, mucho gracias, Patrick, for finding this back almost 2 years ago now and sharing your story of the results that you've gotten with it and inspiring me to jump on board and get it. And, that we make it available to people as a product is also pretty awesome because it's helped to support from with the fact that we stopped traveling from a cash flow basis, it's helped us to support keeping things like the app developing and the work going. So much appreciation for that.
I have more comments on it now. So on that
Go
level,
for it.
Also that we're helping people tremendously. It is not only an emotional forgiveness, but it's a physical forgiveness machine that forgives stress energy from the body. And much like exercise, so number one, we have exercise or excise, and number two, we have the idea that we move energy. If we move blood, we're moving energy. And you can't hold down, but you don't have to, I don't go through the pain of a lot of stuff with it. It doesn't. Now the BEMER, and I want to talk about both, the BEMER opened up blood flows through different areas of my body, and one was legs, because I'd gotten to the point of things that were militarily oriented, of my hate for war and hate of hate, things like that, were stuck in my legs, and they say I had, Agent Orange diabetes, and that was the cause. But in my opinion, the real cause, or parallel cause, would be that I didn't really want to be here, no longer wanting to walk on Earth. So that through the BEMER,
Right.
which I want to mention, the BEMER will do the first wondrous thing. It will move that blood. It will move that energy. But that brought up one night a nightmare and of that energy coming up and me realizing that's what was stuck in my legs. That's what was blocked. So I had to do a lot of forgiveness and clear. So I want to say that the BEMER is still a very important product because it has, and the most important thing is you got to use it. And people are just motivated by pain. And I'm calling friends, especially I'm finding even with myself, I started losing motivation to use the AVACEN due to not having pain. No more pain. I don't have pain, but what a prevention, what a stitch in time saves nothing. Wonderful machine.
Well, it's kind of like forgiveness. You don't have to be sick to get better.
Well, the funny thing is it's the same as breathing. It's the same as walking. It's the same as exercise. The blood's flowing, the energy is flowing, and as within breathing, it'll go right through the negative emotion that's come up. So as you did your long dissertation, the what was it called? About, I'm going to put it another thing, the stress response of closing down your blood system and then getting it stuck, all your muscles tighten up, your capillary sphincters close down, and you go into survival modes, and those get stuck in the body. So when you're using these two machines, they open more gently, I would think, as a starter for most people with the BEMER. And I would, for whoever can, I think if you stretch it out, the payments would be like $1.97 a day to add an AVACEN to a BEMER. I'd say bump up a BEMER because you don't have the heat, and the heat changes all the chemistry to work faster in the body and releases things at a deeper level, and was what the things that the BEMER couldn't get to that were really giving me a hard time. And for about 6 months of HELL, I had to wake up at night with a cramp in my left leg and foot, hobble into my rehab room and rehab for an hour and a half, and maybe never go back to sleep because it was 2:30, 5:30. Why go back? So just watch the sunrise. That's when I got the AVACEN. The AVACEN changed that dramatically for just one session, 15 minutes each hand. Didn't even know what the AVACEN was about, but it made my body. I had heat in my feet first time ever, and I thought maybe 20 years. Don't remember how long. Immediately lost that cramps in the night that were driving me crazy going away. And then ever since, just one thing after another over the last few years has been trailing off. It keeps healing things or assisting the healing of things amazingly. So I would definitely say if one can, if I can help you work out a finance on it, I think it's, standard, wondrous biohack.
There's nothing like it. There's no other medical device that I know of that people who use it say, wow, I love the side effects of my medical treatment. There's nothing else on the market that...
In case somebody is to fall off on the use of it, remember these things from Patrick. Stitch in time saves 9. It's a preventive. It gets to things you don't even know are in the way. I lost track of things dropped off me, but if anybody wants to know, just give me a call. So if you don't use it, you lose it, they say. And so I could not use my hands. I was 10 or 12 years out of doing body work. Maybe an hour or two a day for a few people I could do, but it was painful. Now my hands were frozen stiff with a 15-degree range of motion of non-movement, not able to make a fist. Now they're working, and I'm now with the state of Florida reactive license to do body work and massage, and I just keep feeling better all the time.
That's amazing. Pretty powerful. Yeah. When I think about the fact that your hands were such a trauma for you that you gave up your profession that you'd done for so many years, and then it was just a few months ago you told me you were getting your license again. It's like, wow, your hands are doing that well. That's pretty awesome. And it is amazing.
I'm excited. I just bought a new table, all kinds of stuff to do work and enjoy. And So let's go back to that body, mind, spirit, because you're helping me to put together what I'm going to say to this people who I have no idea. They'll be of all walks of life and all religions or all spiritual beliefs or non-beliefs.
Right.
And one thing I could say is simply to begin with, I can say alignment. If you want to do martial arts and you have the right attitude, if you line yourself up on a vertical axis, like what I call ergonomic posturing, effortless posturing, and then your body flows phenomenally. You also have, especially if you balance your cranium on your atlas in a vertical axis, regardless of the rest of the body, you got blood flow to your brain, and you're aligned, like we were talking about before many times, as an antenna to catch our own souls, to catch the information in the universe. Intuition goes up, brain power goes up, and effortlessness comes about.
Brain power.
If you did it, yeah, brain power.
Really an important piece of it.
It's not like the brain. It's a freedom. It's a freedom from the programs of the mind, because once you're balanced up there, but then if you keep it and keep playing with it, and somewhere between 5 and 15 minutes, your intuition, your connection to the universe goes up, and your own soul, whatever ideas come in, happiness comes in, muscles relax, posture is stuck, and the rest of the body goes away. So that alignment, what I noticed with my martial arts teacher was he was like top level through China, trained, blah, blah, 16,000 moves when he was 16. But the most important when I watched him was he could move faster backwards than anybody could move forwards. And he was loose as a goose until he had impact. But he moved on that central axis. As soon as you move off of it, you're tied up, your arms, everything moves. So, it's like, and in this art, supposedly combat art, you can use it. Confidence over your fears is a good thing, but if you have a bad attitude in it, you gain some negativity within your own self and to others and back and forth. But you can free yourself, work out, become aligned, and with your own spirit, and be in neutral when you're playing the game. I always called it playing. When I was 9 years in Kung Fu, I just played and assisted others, and I watched that on a mental level with the programming people had, not feeling good about themselves. It did help a lot of people, and hopefully I can do this speech in a way that can help those who are tied up in anger.
I think you're going to do perfectly, Patrick.
Okay.
And my offering, I've known you for 50 years, and as you talk about the mind and the work you've been doing with the AVACEN and such, between the AVACEN and the BEMER, I'll offer that, we've been on the phone now for about, 40 minutes or so, that never in 50 years that I've known you have I heard you be able to follow a thread of thought without getting lost in it and not being sure what you were talking about. Patrick, I haven't heard you do that since the day I met you. And your flow of thought for the last 40 minutes has been connected, continuous, and just moved right through without me having to say, Patrick, wait a minute now, what are you talking about? I lost. That's a compliment, Patrick. That is awesome. The shift and the consistency of just staying on track is phenomenal. And of course, the brain is fed by capillaries, and that's exactly what both the BEMER and the AVACEN work with, is opening up the capillary flow. And nice work. That's awesome.
It's really. I've been fighting that and trying to keep track of my own thoughts. I always thought that I had too much, that my mind worked on too many things at once, and that they were all important, but I couldn't line them up, and I couldn't stick with one. So I would do tricks and everything to try to stay on target, and build in a way that people could understand block by block in the right alignment. I never could accomplish it till now, and I don't know where the final breakthrough came, or what we would call maybe just taking the junk out of the way to where I can now line up my thoughts and put them in an order. Like,
well, it's awesome, man. That's fabulous.
The most important thing is how pleasant it is to not have to work on it anymore. Like,
yay!
Yay!
I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear you.
It's been a long
that's
path.
Awesome. Nice breath there. Sounds like you just that little breath you just did was another piece that just let go. Are you conscious of what moved with that breath you just did?
Yeah, the accumulative fear of speaking is like, and I don't know, it was childhood forward, I don't know, but I remember being in a speech class and the guy passed me and gave me a D. I couldn't get up and give a speech. I could do a demonstration, which I did with somebody else, phenomenal. But I always taught classes, and I did teach good classes, but it was always through doing and demonstrating and taking action, never through an individual speech dissertation separate from physical demonstration at the time. That was easy. Like it was really.
Well, congratulations.
Doing a speech was
congratulations, you've done it. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. Powerful.
So, let me see if there's any question I have on that. Body, mind, spirit. So basically, what I see if I can include, I'll tune in on the audience, and I think I'll be able to include that the problems that need to be healed are basically of the mind. And the mind is just the majority of it is the programming and the unconscious that we received in childhood through either representation or through trauma of the unloved part, someone being a power person. And that there are many ways to heal and assist this process of letting go of those programs and belief systems that create trauma, again, for others and ourselves, and kill our bodies and keep us from truly healing, because the only thing that's really going to heal is love, which is what we are. I don't know if that didn't, I pulled that in, but that didn't quite click yet. Basically, only thing that heals is love. What we are is love.
Yeah.
And what's in the way is what keeps us ill.
I'm with you 100%. The thought comes, Patrick, do you have the app on your phone? The Heartland Aramaic Forgiveness app?
Yes, I do.
Oh, good.
Just let people know.
Do you tap in and do worksheets on it from time to time?
No, I don't. Remember, I hated worksheets. So I do all the things I've talked about, and I do work. I always said that I would do the worksheets in my mind, and I do shortcut worksheets. I bring it up, and I look at, as soon as I do anything that's not of love, every day and every way, I bring it up, I go over it, and I especially love to go on a trip shopping or something for 45 minutes to an hour to work it, and that's when it's clear. Best is when I'm in movement down the road, riding the bike. When I'm sitting still, I don't know, I will look into these things. So when I'm sitting still in the office or in a room, I don't like bringing it up. I feel it comes up especially wondrously in my sleep, and I'm semi-asleep or aware, and I'll start breathing and clearing air early in the morning or even somewhere past 2 o'clock to sunrise. I'll clear. And if it's something big, I'll be clearing for the next 2 or 3 days on anything. But I keep it in mind. I keep working on it. But I've never. So I'll try worksheets again. I've never enjoyed worksheets.
Yeah. How about another How about another MindShifter?
Sure, go.
Okay. Got your pen?
I'm ready.
One of my deepest enjoyments is utilizing the forgiveness process to face. One of my deepest enjoyments is using the forgiveness process to face, surface, and work through old traumas. So you might work with that and see what that does to your breath, if it creates any restriction, and see what that might be. When you talked about, being a kid in school, I wonder if there's a tie-in of having to get to specifics aside from physical, and you're a really physical guy. You're what we call a muscular body type that's meant to take action. But I see that you're bringing your mind more and more into alignment and your ability to speak there. And so maybe a worksheet or two on those early speech classes might be beneficial and open things on still another level.
I'm going to speak about what brought up so far. And I don't know where it started, but it'll start coming up, I'm sure. So basically that was junior year of high school. And what I felt like was probably fear of failure, fear of judgment of others. The weird thing is I was extremely shy in high school, and yet I was what they call one of those football hero guys. So the popularity walking down the halls is everybody would say hi in a great way and up energy, and I would have to push out saying hi back. I mean, it was a deliberate effort.
Right.
Trying to send dance was very difficult until I came back from the Army as a man, and then took Kung Fu for about 3 years, and then after movement and doing a tremendous number of movements, it kind of broke through my nervous system to be able to dance phenomenally, freely, enjoyably, etc. And I think that physical, maybe as a muscular type, I guess, or a physical person, or a Taurus or whatever, that was the important move, the energy through the body, and it moved it through the mind, and the experience came out the other side. So I will look back in childhood, but I'm not sure. I would have thought that a lot of, I know, I got one. A lot of my fear of speaking out is because I was different from all the other kids. And you always get picked on if you're different. It's just natural to children and pigeons. So it's like when I used to have a lot of kids one time they played basketball, and I was laying on the side of the court looking up at the clouds and kind of connected everything, and my vocabulary was extremely high also as a child. And so the guys would come over and they would break into my connection to everything and my intuition and my ability to bring in inventive type ideas and creations and stuff. And
we're down to 1 minute.
Say, hey, professor, wake up. So
it's kind of derogatory to be smart.
Yeah, so I destroyed my language, and I felt good about destroying it through military and construction. Now I'm going to get back.
Good. Breathing through that one with you, my friend. That's awesome. Well, we're down to the less than a minute, so we're going to have to close the conversation out of this show. Will cut us off. But I really appreciate you calling in with this whole conversation. I suspect that anybody who's been listening has really benefited from just the whole flow that we've had today. So much appreciation, my friend, and have the best year yet of your eternal life. It's an awesome gift to give the world. Blessings.
One last mention is that they changed the login for the Zoom for the book club. I have put it in the notes for today, so you'll have to use a different Zoom link than what we had last week. So it's in the notes.
Cool.
Thanks.
So people can go into the notes under the go to the radio show, the microphone on the page, click and drill down. Cool. Thank you, sweetheart.
And I've also changed it on the book club site as well.
Cool. All right. Blessings.